of Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackie and Judd on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
Conversations we had for about 2.5 hours that we were on the Zoom call, it was all about winning. And when I get that from them, that makes me excited because I want to take up on the challenge. It was not long ago when I was playing for an organization that it was last in the big leagues the year before I got there, losing 100-plus games. So I know what it takes to build a championship culture within the clubhouse. It starts within the clubhouse and all the way up to the front office. So I see that here with the talent that we have, and I see that we can get so much better in order for us to accomplish that goal to ultimately win a championship.
Is that how Carlos Correa views the Twins as this 100-loss dumpster? Because they haven't lost. They didn't lose that many games last year. Did they even lose 90?
He knows they finished last place.
Did they finish last place?
American League Central.
Oh my God!
Congratulations,
yeah.
last place. Fly the flag.
My goodness sakes! This is Mackie and Judd, daily Minnesota sports entertainment, therapy, speculation. We posed this question to Pat a couple days ago. We'll get to write that down, predictions later on in the show today. We posed this question to Pat Royce, and I think we should pose it among ourselves here. It's been a while since we've done the Minnesota Sports Team Championship pecking order, and we're going to keep it confined. Hopefully no one's feelings are hurt here, okay?
Yeah.
God, I'm not making this into a social graphic again, I'll tell you that.
Dex has gotten clapped by the Lynx, by the United. He's getting clapped the Gophers. So this is going to be the 4 main, long-time – I don't even know how to say this without offending people.
We're going to get offended.
I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop right there and say we're going to rank 4 teams, okay?
They're the 4 teams that –
No, stop.
Right or wrong?
Stop.
Let me
I'm
tell you
not going
something.
back into my boss's office to explain what I did.
Oh, man.
And my boss is not failing this in this discussion.
That's right. It was my boss.
Yeah, it was
your
our
boss's
boss.
boss.
Our boss.
Boss gets it.
We're going to rank 4 teams.
Mm-hmm.
The Vikings, the Twins, the Wild, and the Timberwolves based on how close they are to winning a championship, how likely they are to winning a championship. All right, so take it wherever you want. We'll start with Judd.
All right.
Let me get some music here.
So I'm going to go
Let's fire this up.
the top on down because I think the end is more intriguing actually right now than the top. So number 1, the Wild. They are all in. Right or wrong, Billy Guerin is all in. I love it. It's great. And it might not work. But you know what? There's a commitment to go for it. And right now, I don't even think it's a big debate. Right now, the Wild is a team in town that is currently pursuing a championship. So they're not.
There's no room for petty bull.
I love that. You tell him, Billy, no room for petty. And he's exactly right. Which means if your little feelings are hurt because you thought that you were going to play more or not get scratched, too bleeping bad. We're going for a championship. And you know what championships do? They run over feelings. I love that.
Okay, do you put the Wild number 1 more because of their own talent and structure and everything? Or what percentage of it is the Wild versus the nature of the playoffs? And hey, if you're a good team and you get hot, it's an easier path, not easier, but it's a more likely path in the NHL than say the NBA, where it's if you don't have LeBron James for 10 years.
Sure. I know that you factor that in more than I do, and that's very, very fair. But I am doing it based on what they are doing. So I'm not doing it based on the randomness of the sport and the playoffs. I'm doing it based on this. The Marc-Andre Fleury acquisition to me is, and it's not the exact same, but it might be as close as we have gotten to the Favre acquisition by the Vikings in 2009. Just as far as you went out and acquired a future Hall of Fame goaltender who, by the way, puts up great playoff stats. So there is no petty BS here. There is no mistaking what this team is doing. So I don't factor in the sport itself, which is fine. But I factor in where this team is at and the fact that the GM clearly sees opportunity and he's pouncing. So they are 1 to me easily. And I love it. It's great. It's awesome. We don't do this much. So when we do, I'm excited. Number 2, and I think we have to get our heads around the fact that this is just a good team. The Timberwolves.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're just a good team.
Wow.
Like, I was giving
Number
this
2.
thought this morning. I saw your question in our prep notes, Phil. And I was thinking, it's a fun run and it's been good and Pat Bev's great. And then I thought, Judd, just stop. They've got Cat, who has been magnificent. They've got Ant, who is damn good and definitely a first overall pick type of player. They've got complementary players. D'Lo, since I guess sort of rocky start, has been damn good. So they are second, not because I expect an extended playoff run this spring, but because they have built up a damn good team. So
Get the flag.
okay, hold on.
Get the flag.
Hold on. Here it comes.
There it goes.
I'm back, ladies and gentlemen.
Amazing. The internet has been holding up so far today. It's nice. You had a Comcast technician out there for 9 hours yesterday.
Yep. Guy came out here.
He dug a new hole or two.
Well,
Crazy.
I said, first of all, I'm Judd Zolgad. And he's like, oh my God, you are? And I said, I need better service.
Are you Judd Zolgad from Judd's Hockey Show? That's crazy.
He said, Judd's Hockey Show. Mackie and Judd, Purple Daily.
Are you Judd Zolgad from the Judd and Fun Show from 12 years ago on
That's not what he
1500
said.
ESPN?
That's not what he said. That's not what he said at all. Okay, so the Timberwolves are number 2. Now it gets interesting. I was going to say dicey, but dicey is not the right word. It gets interesting. Right now, first of all, I think these teams are very close, but I'm going to put the Twins 3. When you go get, and I don't care if it's set up by the agent, I don't care if it's put in motion by the president of baseball operations, I don't care whom. When you go get Carlos Correa, even for a year, you have taken a stand and made a commitment that pitching-wise, something else is coming. I hope. And this might be a brief flirtation, but Carlos Correa was the best free agent on the market. When healthy, your lineup is really damn good. So like, this is not a, hey, Carlos Correa joined a bunch of jokers and this is going to be he'll be good, but then, and these are all ifs, and I get that, but that's sports, right? If Byron Buxton stays healthy, he is a magnificent player. Carlos Correa is a magnificent player. The lineup is really good. Kirilloff, I think, is going to be fantastic. If you get one more starter, you've solidified this, because I think bullpen-wise, it can be toyed with. Like, I'm not big on...
You can fix bullpens.
If your bullpen's not great to start the season, you're screwed. Bullpen surprise. Like, I have seen teams and thought their bullpen stinks. It's good. I've seen teams and thought their bullpen's pretty strong. It's not good. So the fact is, this team is a starter away. But Carlos Correa, flat out to me, changes the dynamic completely. Like, that goes from they're pretty good to, oh, hold on a second here. There are now per league 6 playoff teams. Baseball, again, to go back to what you said, Phil, baseball, like hockey, can be sort of random. So I'm putting the Twins 3rd, and I'm putting the Vikings 4th. 1, it's an incomplete. Like, we don't know yet. I might not completely agree with their direction, but they're also not done here. And putting the Vikings 4th is not to say that this franchise has become a dumpster fire. Like, I just don't know yet.
You're just negative.
But as far as, absolutely. And that's my brand. That's how people think of me. I panic. I'm negative.
Yep.
Forget what I said about Bill Guerin and his team, because that does not count.
No, it only counts if you praise Kirk. That's it.
Just focus on the bad things. The Zadarius Smith signing, I like it. But ladies and gentlemen, and go ahead and play it. Go ahead and play the panic mode. He is coming off back surgery, okay? So, and he played in the entirety of the 2022 season, or I'm sorry, 21. He played in 2 games. So we don't know there yet. So I'm going Wild, Wolves, Twins, Vikings.
Interesting. Okay. I'll give you my list here. And my list is presented by our friends at Federated Mutual Insurance Company. Federated,
You
been
got a
around for
sponsor
over
for
100
yours.
years. That's right.
Federated's like, forget Zolgad.
He's got
You could have chosen
got some
Chill
insurance
Boys.
here.
You could have chosen Chill Boys to sponsor.
Yeah.
We'll talk about them later. But Federated's here as really just a risk management shield for your business, like a great offensive line. And you can tap into all their resources, information, all the different people that can help your business at federatedinsurance.com. And remember, at Federated, it's our business to protect yours. Maybe the Vikings move up your list to win a Super Bowl because the Chiefs are moving down, by the way. This is moving super fast this morning. Apparently, the Jets and Dolphins are in close discussions with the Chiefs about acquiring Tyreek Hill. So, if you take Tyreek Hill off the Chiefs and put him on the Jets or the Dolphins, it's possible that all three of those teams I just mentioned are not playoff teams this upcoming year. That's AFC, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow,
all right.
I've got the Wild number 1 as well, and I don't think any of these teams are like favorites to win a championship right now, but they're also all like reasonable to make a playoff run and make some noise. But I'm going to say it's a combination of the Wild are very good. They've sort of crossed into the threshold of 6 or 7 teams that have enough components. They're deep enough, could have good enough goaltending if Marc-Andre Fleury has another run left in him. Like there's the Avalanche. There's like probably 2 different tiers of playoff teams, maybe 3 in the NHL. Number 1 is the favorites. Number 2 is teams that are good enough if they get hot and they could win a Stanley Cup. And then there's always like 2 or 3 teams that kind of sneak in, but they're really pretty much screwed. Like they're not going to get beyond the second round. The Wild have been in that third category more often than not, it feels like.
Yes.
I think they're in that second category of they're definitely not favorites, but if a couple things go right and they get a hot goaltender, you could see it. So Wild are number 1. And I made this list before Judd did, and I'm not going to alter it. I also have the Timberwolves number 2.
Oh my God.
They're a good team. They're a good team. Hold on. Stella, where's the flag?
Stella.
She got me the flag. Thank you, Stella. Love the Wolves.
All right, here's my logic. Here's my logic on this.
I'm here.
Look at the
Here's my
last
face.
2 years. Judge just got the Wolves logo
He just
in place of
just
his
a
face
wolf.
now.
Yeah.
Here's my logic on this. The last couple of years, the NBA has flattened out a lot. There's not a dominating dynasty team like the Warriors for 5 or 6 years. I mean, the Warriors are struggling to all stay healthy and 100%. And, Steph Curry now has the injury, and Draymond Green has been injured, and he's old, and Klay Thompson's not the same guy. I mean, I still think the Warriors would beat the Timberwolves in a playoff series, but there's not that dominant Miami Heat, Golden State Warriors. And if you look at the finals the last couple years, the Bucks came out of nowhere and won the whole thing. The Suns had a 2-0 lead in the finals. Nobody really expected, like at the beginning of the year, the Suns are going to be good, but to have a 2-0 lead in the finals. The year before that, it was the pandemic year. It was kind of like the weird bubble year, but the Heat went to the finals. Mm-hmm. So like these aren't like dominant, San Antonio Spurs dynasty type teams. If you have some good star players and some depth and you're well coached, you can make a run. So I don't think this year is the year for the Wolves. I think they could win a playoff series, especially if they get matched up with a banged-up Golden State team or Memphis. I think they could win a playoff series. But if they can keep building on this and then Anthony Edwards gets better and Pat Bev comes back and Cat now comes off a year where he feels fully confident. I mean, I'm not saying it's likely.
There it is. There it is. There it is. Fly the banner. Ooh. All right.
Times pop up. I got the Vikings third.
Uh-huh.
The Zadarius Smith signing was great. All of Judd's concerns are valid. He's coming off back surgery. He basically missed the whole season. So if he's healthy, if Danila's healthy, you love that defensive line and or just the edge rushers in that 3-4 defense. But who's playing center? Who's playing right guard? Who are your cornerbacks right now? They still have a lot of work to do before you put them in an actual contender category. The NFC's weak, so even if they don't add anything going forward, do they probably still compete for a wild card spot or maybe even the division in a Devontae Adams-less division? And then I got the Twins fourth until they add at least another pitcher. Right now, I need one more starting pitcher before I can say, okay. And then I need to see some of the young arms actually emerge. Like, I need with my own two eyes to see pitching development come through the pipeline and emerge and give your bullpen or rotation a boost. So Wild, Wolves, Vikings, Twins is my pecking order.
It's very fair.
So I'm actually in absolute lockstep with Judd from top down. The Wild are easily
you have the Wolves
best one.
number 2 as well?
Yeah. I had the Wolves too, baby. I had the Wolves too. Get the flag.
You know what it is?
No,
We're going garbage
trash
can.
can.
Original trash can. Original trash can.
And the Wolves.
Fastball. Curveball. Fastball. Curveball.
Amazing.
I mean, my logic here is number one. We've regurgitated why the Wild have the best odds here. It just makes a lot of sense. They're the best of the 4 major teams. Hockey is a weird sport. Everything is in place. The pieces are in place for them to potentially make a deep run in the Western Conference. And also, I mean, the Wild were in the East. I don't know. The Eastern Conference in the NHL right now is a gauntlet. We talk about the Central Division being tough for the Wild's sake in the NHL, but the Eastern Conference right now, Judd, I mean, there are a lot of good teams that could come out of there. I think the Wild the Wild would have no shot, I think, getting out in the East, where they have a path, in my opinion, Colorado being the only big bugaboo of potentially getting out of the West.
Yeah, Colorado.
The reason I had the Wolves second is just very simple. I mean, they're going to be a playoff team. They're going to be a playoff team here in a month and a half, or less than that. So my logic is very simple. They're going to be in the playoffs. The Twins and Vikings, we don't know yet. So just naturally, the Wolves have a chance to potentially win a championship in 3 or 4 months.
Don't try and convince yourself, man.
Hold on. Just saying that out loud seems nuts. Absolutely nuts that the Wolves have a legitimate shot 3 months from now to win a championship because they're a playoff team. So that's where my logic falls for the Wolves.
I still think there's a. We talked about this yesterday. There's a video game level nature to the NBA and the playoffs that they're gonna have to take a lump or two and then try again next year, and then probably try again, and then it just depends on what is their ceiling. They're not gonna reach their ceiling this year, but to be in the mix and to be, I mean, look what they're doing. They're blowing so many teams out. They go on the road against Dallas. You know, they get rocked around a little bit in the first half, but now they're ready for it. Now they know what that fight feels like.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll save it for right that now. Save it for right that now.
Save it for right that now.
I've got a Wolves
accountability session. We're going to admit you're wrong. We will. My third and fourth team here, obviously with the Twins and Vikings. I have the Twins third and the Vikings fourth. I think this is basically a coin flip, and I can hear logic on both sides. Historically, the Vikings have been choke artists when it comes to the big game, to the NFC Championship game. They've lost 4 Super Bowls. Recently, it's been the Twins losing 18 consecutive GD playoff games. But I can make the case, last year, the World Series champions were the Atlanta Braves, who won 88 games in the regular season, beat the best Dodgers team, arguably one of the best teams ever assembled in the NLCS. They got hot at the right time. No one really ever saw them as World Series favorites going into 2021, and who would have saw them then winning the whole damn thing? So I had the Twins third, and with expanded playoffs, there's 3 teams that now get in. You're probably going to see an 85-win team, obviously, get into the wild card and potentially be in the divisional round series. So I have the Twins third and the Vikings fourth. I have to be proven that the Vikings can hang with the contenders in the NFC, and I don't think they can. So I go Wild, Wolves, Twins, Vikings.
Okay. Can I say something about the Wolves as far as I think that there's some deep therapy work from us that is necessary when it comes to the Wolves based on this. If this list were called the best constructed roster among these teams now capable of a run at some point, because I think we all agree that the 4 teams that we just went through are not going to win a championship in 2022. But if we were to say, okay, who's just got the best chance, period, for like the next 5 years, I got news for you right now. It's the Timberwolves. The pieces have never been in place like this for years. And I would say that long term, when you look at this core group, they're going to stay in place. Like this is look at the Vikings right now, very fluid. We don't know. Twins, Correa might be a lot of fun 1 year probably, which is fine. I'm fine with that. I have never been so happy about being used in my life as I am by Carlos Correa. The Wild, I like what they're doing, but they are going to go into 3 years of salary cap hell, and they're going to have to trade guys that is going to be painful to watch. And they might miss the playoffs by as early as next year. We don't know that. The Timberwolves, with health and with what a guy like Pat Bev is bringing, and when he's gone, it still should work. Like guys should learn, right? D'Lo, Ant, and Cat are here.
I love the point you're making here, because, and we should almost dive into this more at length later in the week, but it is hard to undo 17 years of wiring or 30 years of wiring, right?
Right.
If you just look at this team purely objectively with no references to the history of the franchise,
Right.
I think your level of optimism would be even higher. But a lot of people feel guarded because of the last 2 decades, right? Well, I mean, it's got to be, there's got to be something here on the other side of the curtain. It's too good to be true. What's the hidden poison here as I bite into the donut, right? Like that's kind of what it feels like for a lot of Timberwolves fans. But it's different. It is different.
We have to get past saying, and I say it too, I can't believe I'm saying this.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I mean, you've got Cat, D'Lo, Ant. This is a good roster.
McDaniels.
Yeah. And if
Vanderbilt.
these guys are happy here, it's going to remain a good roster.
Yeah, they're all 26 and younger. It's not like the Jimmy Butler thing was also weird because the age gap between Jimmy, I think Jimmy was like 28, 29 when he was with the Timberwolves, 28, 29, and Cat was like 22, 21.
Yes. And Wiggins was still here, and I think that was a weird dynamic.
Yeah, and now everyone is age aligned. At least the nucleus is age aligned. Even the young guys like Jaden McDaniels, these guys, it fits. It makes sense. He's 20, and these guys are going to rise up together over the next 3 or 4 years.
I'm just saying.
So while they're going to bring a cup home, Timberwolves are going to take some lumps, but then be ready in line for next season.
LOB.
Town.
LOB.
Yeah.
Need some LOBs. Need some Stanley C's and some LOBs. Let's get them.
Oh my
Stanley
God.
C's.
Oh, I didn't see that coming. Well, if
LOBs.
it's going to be Stanley's, we got one of these. And if it's going to be the LOB, we got one of these.
For my own convenience, as much as I was born and raised in St. Paul, and I love this side of the river, it would be very easy for my convenience sake if the Wolves won a championship and walking down to Hennepin from where my location is in the North Loop instead of trying to figure out my way home.
Yeah, you
being
could walk out your
stumbled
front
into
door and
detox.
put a lawn chair down.
In St. Paul. Exactly. Yeah, I'd be fine there. But for St. Paul, it might be difficult. Might be a little difficult.
All right, here, guys. I was at the World Series parades, and let me tell you right now, when you win a championship, a big time one, yes, it can start on one side, but you're closing down the freeway, and it's going to make its way to the other side.
Is that what happened? So they closed down 94?
In 87, they closed it down.
Did they start in St. Paul or did they start in
They
Minneapolis?
started in downtown, which was a mess. It went down the freeway, I believe, to the Capitol. But yeah, it went down. So I'm talking about room to move here.
Were there people like hanging over the bridges and stuff on 94?
It was great. In fact, I pulled over. I forget why. I pulled in the 87 parade. I pulled over on 94. Somebody came up and said, "I'll give you $20 for your Homer hanky." I said, "Of course, here you go."
What?
I forget
That's a lot
why.
of cash
but
back in 87.
But I mean, yeah, but it was nuts. But I'm talking about you close the town down for a day. You pick where the lawn chair is. You get your surly out and you party. It's great.
Yeah. Well, maybe we get a run here. I can't believe I'm saying this, which we have to stop doing that.
Stop doing that, Phil. It's not your fault.
At some point, there will be a run on Minnesota titles. No. I don't know if that run looks like the Boston run, which is the most historic run ever, where their football team won 6 and the Red Sox won 3 or 4, the Bruins and the Celtics won. I don't think it's going to be like 12 championships in 20 years, but at some point, there's going to be a Super Bowl, and then 2 years later, there's going to be a Cup and a World Series, like 3 championships in a 5-year window or something. It will happen.
I don't know. I can handle that.
Everything comes back around. Look at how garbage the Patriots were for like 2 decades in the 70s, the 80s, early 90s.
The Warriors. The
Dude,
Warriors
they
were nothing.
A joke. Yes.
Nothing.
Oh yeah, the Wolves could make a run. Absolutely, they could.
I mean, hell, the Bulls. The Bulls were a joke in the 70s.
Got to get the right
early
players,
80s.
man. And they might
Bulls,
have the right players.
The Bulls then became a joke again after Michael Jordan left. Like, it's just, anyways. Well, that was great.
That was a fun exercise.
I feel really good.
If you think we're negative, why don't
I'm about
you
to say.
put this episode in your pipe and smoke it?
There's a lot of positivity, and I think it's justified, especially at the top of that list.
Let's pause and admit where we were wrong here. Write that down. Predictions coming up on Mackie and Judd.